Hello, dear friends. I welcome you all on our YouTube channel Padhai Se Dosti. In today's video session, we are going to discuss about the physiography of our country, India. So, in previous video session, we have already discussed about the physical map of India and some questions based on that physical map we have already solved. So, let's discuss about the geographical explanation behind the physiography of India and what are the different major physiographic structure or the divisions which are present in the India. Okay, so there are mainly five major physiographic divisions in our country. So they are as follows. First one is Himalayas. You all are familiar with this term. Okay. Second one is North Indian plains. Third one is Peninsula. Fourth one is coastal plain, and fifth one is island groups. Okay. So I have already shown you a map of this physical feature in our previous video session. So again I am showing you the same map, so you will get the better understanding of all these five physiographic division. So this is the first one, that is a northern mountainous ranges, means Himalayas. Okay, so this lavender color shows the Himalaya ranges located in the northern India. Okay, then North Indian plains shown by this dark green color over here. Then here it is a peninsular India, the plateau region of our country. The fourth one is coastal plains, the western coastal plain and eastern coastal plain, as you can see over here in pink color. And then island groups, the fifth physiographic region. There are two island groups which belongs to India. One is Lakshadweep island group in Arabian Sea, which is located towards the west direction of our country, and the second one is Andaman and Nicobar island groups, which is towards the east of our country and in Bay of Bengal region. Okay, so let's have in-depth analysis of all these physiographic structure. The first one, Himalayas. Himalayas is one of the young fold mountain in the world. The Himalayas extend from Pamir Knot in the Tajikistan to the east. It is a major mountain system of Asian continent. In India, its extent from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so what this Himalaya is exactly? It is a young fold mountain. So we have already discussed the endogenetic forces, exogenetic forces in our ninth standard. If you are not familiar with these forces, then please watch our video session on this particular forces. Okay, I have already uploaded video regarding the endogenetic forces also and exogenetic forces also. Because of plate tectonics moment, there is a formation of these young fold mountains. Okay, depending on the age of that folding created by this plate tectonics, mountain are classified into young fold mountains or the old fold mountains. So we have already discussed Aravalli mountains, they are the old fold mountains, but these Himalayas, they are the young fold mountains. And each year the height of this Himalayas also increasing by 1 or 2 centimeter, which is not really visible, but it is scientifically proven that the Indian Indo-Australian plate is moving towards the north, and it compresses the Eurasian plate. So the height of Himalayas is increasing. It is a slow endogenetic movement. That's why we can't able to observe this particular movement. Just remember that Himalaya is one of the young fold mountain in the world. Okay, there are many young fold mountains like Alps, Rockies, Andes. Okay, but Himalayas are one of the youngest fold mountains in the world. Remember this fact. It extends from Pamir Knot in Tajikistan. So where is Tajikistan? So if you have better knowledge of Indian and its neighbor, then you can able to observe the Tajikistan somewhere over here. Here you can see this is a Pamir Knot over here. Here it is Afghanistan, here Pakistan, here China, Nepal, Bhutan. So we have already discussed India and its neighbor. Okay, Tajikistan do not share direct land border with India, but the southeastern part of this Tajikistan, here Pamir Knot is located. So Himalayas starts from this Pamir Knot and it's goes like this. Here you can see the Himalayas like this. Okay, so there are four parallel ranges of Himalaya. Okay guys, so remember this thing. In India, Himalaya starts from Jammu and Kashmir and ends in Arunachal Pradesh over here. So this is the main feature related to this Himalayan mountains and its extent in our country. Okay, so The Himalayas is not a single mountain range. There are many parallel ranges in the system. The southernmost is Shivalik. It is also youngest range. The next is next to the Shivalik is Lesser Himalaya. Okay, then Greater Himalayas or Himadri, and then Trans Himalayan ranges. So remember this thing. There are four parallel ranges of Himalayas. Okay, so here there are four parallel ranges. This is Trans Himalayas, this is Greater Himalayas, then Lesser Himalayas. Okay, and after Lesser Himalayas there is a Shivalik over here like this. Okay, so like this there are four parallel ranges. Remember, I am again repeating, the southernmost is Shivalik, then Lesser Himalaya, then Greater Himalaya, and then Trans Himalayan ranges. Okay, so in this way there are four different mountain ranges. Okay, the mountain ranges are also divided into Western Himalaya or the Kashmir Himalaya, Central Himalaya or the Kumaon Himalaya, and the Eastern Himalaya or the Assam Himalaya. So it is a regional classification of this particular Himalayan ranges. Okay, guys. So remember again this thing. So how this regional classification taking place? Let's see. So this particular area is known as Kashmir Himalaya, like this. This is which is located in Jammu and Kashmir. Then which is located in between the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. It is known as Kumaon Himalaya. Okay, and the Himalayas which is located over here, it is known as Assam Himalayas or the Eastern Himalayas. Okay, Western, Central, Eastern, or Kashmir Himalaya, Kumaon Himalaya, and Assam Himalaya. Okay, so remember these three regional names. There are many, but you don't have to mug up all these names. You just have to remember whatever given in your syllabus. Okay, so Western Himalayas. Okay, these are Western Himalayas. Then here Central Himalayas, this is Eastern Himalayas. Western Himalayas also known as Kashmir Himalayas, Central Himalayas also known as Kumaon Himalayas, and Eastern Himalayas also known as Assam Himalayas. So remember this fact. So in this way we have discussed the first physiographic structure. The second one is North Indian Plains. So the division, this particular division lies between the Himalayan mountain in the north and the peninsula in the south. Okay. Similarly, it extends from Rajasthan and Punjab in the west to the Assam in the east. It is mostly a flat, low-lying area. Okay. The North Indian plains are divided into two parts. Okay, the part lying to the east of Aravallis is a basin of river Ganga and therefore known as Ganga Plains. Remember this fact. Okay, and it slope towards the eastward, which we have already seen in our last lecture. Okay, most of the West Bengal state of India and Bangladesh together constitute the delta of Ganga Brahmaputra system. It is also known as Sundarban, and it is considered to be the world's largest delta. Okay, here in this figure you can able to observe the Sundarban delta. Okay, here you can able to see the many distributaries of Ganga and Brahmaputra. Okay, so they used to form the delta area, which is a depositional feature of river, as we have already discussed in our 9 standard video sessions. Okay, so it is the world's largest delta. Remember this thing. Okay, made by Ganga and Brahmaputra distributaries. Okay, so here you can able to observe the West Bengal. Here this is a West Bengal state and this is a Bangladesh. So Ganga flows like this and Brahmaputra river like this. After their confluence, it is known as Meghna river and it forms its distributaries over here and the entire delta region. So this is entire region is Sundarban delta, which is the world's largest delta. And this northern Indian plain, they are divided on the basis of this Aravalli mountain range. Here it is a Aravalli mountain range. Okay, so the plains which is towards the eastern side, mean this side it is known as Ganga plains or eastern plains, and the plains which are located towards the western side of this particular Aravalli range, it is known as western plain or the Rajasthan plain or Thar desert, it is also known as. Remember all these things. So this is some information about the Indian plains or the North Indian plains very specifically. The western part of North Indian plains is occupied by desert, as I have already told you, also known as Thar desert or Marustali. What do you mean by Marustali? It is a desert where there is a deficiency of water. Okay, most of the Rajasthan is occupied by desert. To the north of the desert lies a plain of Punjab. Why it is known as Punjab? Because this particular state is made up of 5 river basin. Okay, this is a Punjab. So there is much greater part of Punjab located in Pakistan, so this entire area is known as Punjab. But in India there is only one third part of Punjab after, what we can say, after the separation of two countries, okay, Pakistan and India, in 1947. So there are basically 5 rivers basin in this particular region, and therefore it is known as Punjab. The old name of this particular region is Panchanath. Okay, or today's name is Punjab, which is a land of 5 rivers. Remember this fact. This region is spread to the west of Aravallis and Delhi ranges. Delhi ranges and Aravallis, they are one and the same. Delhi range is the smaller part of Aravalli range, also known as Raisena Hills, where our Rashtrapati Bhavan is located today. Okay, these plains were formed as a result of the depositional work by river Satluj and its tributaries. The slope of the plains is towards the west. Because of the soil here is very fertile, agriculture is largely practiced in these regions. Okay, so as I have already told you, the entire region is drained by different river. There are two big river here. This is Yamuna, then Ganga. Okay, here it is Satluj river. Okay, so here it is Yamuna, here Ganga and Yamuna, they meet at Prayagraj. Okay, then they flow like this. Here you can able to observe the Satluj river, which flows like this. Okay, here it is Indus river. There are many tributaries of this Indus river like Chenab, Ravi, Satluj, Bias. They all flowing from this region. Okay, there is a Luni river, Sabarmati river in this part. Okay, and that's why there is a fertile delta located over here. Okay, or the fertile plains we can say. Okay, and that's why agriculture is predominant in this North Indian plain region. Okay guys, so let's move ahead. The next physiographic feature is the peninsular India. So what it is exactly? The area lying to the south of Indian plains and the tapering towards the Indian Ocean is called as Indian Peninsula. It consists of many plateaus and hill ranges. The Aravalli in the north are the oldest fold mountains here. It includes a series of plateaus bordering the plains, Vindhya Satpura ranges in the central part, and hilly regions of the western and eastern Ghats. So don't get confused because all this information. So let's see, this is a triangular part of Indian peninsula as it is tapering towards the south. You can say this tapered part of this peninsula over here. So it is tapering towards the south. It is roughly triangular in shape. Here you can able to observe the Aravalli ranges from this Gujarat up to Delhi. Okay, like this. So this is a Aravalli range. Here you can able to observe Vindhya range like this. Here the Satpura, then Satmala, Harishchandra Balaghat in Maharashtra. Likewise, there are many ranges. Okay, here the major one range which is parallel to the western coast known as Western Ghat. Here it is the Eastern Ghat. Okay, so remember this thing. Western Ghat is the western boundary of Indian Peninsula. Eastern Ghat is the eastern boundary of Indian Peninsula. The northern boundary, northwestern boundary specifically is Aravalli range. The northern boundary is this North Indian plains over here like this. Okay, so this is Indian Peninsula. Let's solve some of these questions. On the basis of figure 3.1, answer the following question. In which direction the Aravalli lies? So we have already discussed right now, it is in northwestern direction. Okay, Aravalli ranges act as a water divide between which rivers? So we will discuss this question in our drainage system, Indian drainage system lesson. Name the hill located on the plateaus of the east of Aravalli. Okay, so plateaus of east of Aravalli we have already discussed in our previous video session, that is a Mewar plateau, Marwa plateau. Okay, Mewar or Marwa one and the same. Bundelkhand plateau, Bagelkhand plateau, Chota Nagpur plateau. All these are the plateaus which lies towards the east of Aravalli. Across which state has Deccan plateau spread? That also we have discussed in last video session. Again I am repeating for you. You can able to observe the southern part of Rajasthan, entire MP, southern part of UP, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, here Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, Andhra, and Tamil Nadu. So all these states, the you can able to observe this peninsular plateau of our country. Okay, then the next question is, which hill ranges lies to the west of Deccan Plateau? Okay, they have asked about the hill ranges lies to the west of Deccan Plateau, which have we have already discussed. It is a Western Ghat. Enumerate the characteristics of Western Ghat. Okay, so we will see it in subsequent session. Compare the Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat. This is also we will see in depth. Then why are the Western Ghat are called as water divide? Okay, so this also we will see in our subsequent section. Okay, so let's see the coastal plains. India is blessed with a long coastline existing from approximately 7,500 kilometer. It lies to the western and the eastern part of peninsula. In its western and eastern coastline shows remarkable dissimilarities. So what are these dissimilarities? I will told you. The western coast borders the Arabian Sea. It is by and large a rocky coast at a places spurs taking off from the Western Ghat have extending right up to the coast. It its width is the it's too less. Rivers originating from Western Ghat are short and swift and hence form the estuaries and not the deltas. The eastern coast border the Bay of Bengal. It has formed as a result of depositional work of river. Many east flowing rivers using from many east flowing rivers from western and eastern Ghat meet this coast. Okay, because of the gentle slope of the land, river flows at a lower velocity and deposit the sediments brought by them at the coast, and they form deltas. Okay, so therefore you can able to observe the deltas on the eastern coast of India. So here you can able to observe this is a western Ghat, this is a eastern Ghat. The width of the western coastal plain, here the coastal plains are there, it is a very low, the width is very low over here. Here you can able to observe it is a broader, somewhat broader than the western Ghat. Yes or no? Now you can able to observe this is a narrow compared to the eastern plain. These are wide. Okay, so that's why the western flowing river they are very short length, and the western slope of this Sahyadri or the western Ghat is very steep. Okay, it is not gentle, it is very steep. That's why these rivers flowing at very high velocity and they don't used to form a delta over here. Okay, so they form estuaries on the western Ghat, but the east flowing river as the slope is very gentle over here in this region, they used to deposit all their sediments near the coast and they form the deltas. You can able to find Ganga Brahmaputra delta over here, then Mahanadi delta over here, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. There are many east flowing river, they form a delta on the eastern coast. So the major difference between the western coast and eastern coast is that the western coast is narrow, eastern coast is broader. Okay, the western coastal rivers their speed is very high, the eastern coastal rivers speed is comparatively slow. Western coastal rivers form estuaries while eastern coastal rivers form delta. So remember these basic differences between western Ghat and eastern Ghat, or the river which flows in western coastal plain and eastern coastal plain. Okay guys, so let's move ahead. The last physiographic structure of our country is the island group. India has a many small and large islands along the coast of the mainland. These included the coastal island group. Besides India has two large group of island, one each in Andaman Sea and Bay of Bengal, as I have already told you. The islands in Arabian Sea known as Lakshadweep, whereas the islands in the Bay of Bengal are called as Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Most of the island in Lakshadweep are atoll islands. So what is atoll? It is somewhat circular shape. This is circular shape group of different island. Okay, so it is known as atoll. It is looks like this. It is a group of small island like this. It is known as atoll. Okay, so remember this thing. Islands in Andaman group are mainly volcanic islands. Okay, they are large with hills in their interior part of included as an island called as Barren Island, which is the only active volcano in India. There are atolls in Nicobar group too. So remember few things over here. The this Lakshadweep islands, they are atoll group or made up of coral islands basically. But this Arabian Sea, sorry, the Bay of Bengal islands means Andaman and Nicobar island. They are volcanic in origin. Okay, they are nothing but the टिप ऑफ सबमर्ज माउंटेन रेंजेस इन दिस बे ऑफ बंगाल. कुछ ऐसे माउंटेन्स है जो ऑलरेडी वहां पे वोल्केनिक इरप्शन के वजह से बने हैं, उसके टीप मतलब ये आइलैंड से अंडमान और निकोबार ग्रुप के. और यहाँ पे एक बैरन आइलैंड है. Somewhat over here you can able to observe a small island known as Barren Island, which is the only active volcano in our country. So remember these few things related to the physiographic features of our country. So there are 5 physiographic structures and we have discussed each and every physiographic structure in depth. Okay, the Himalayas, their 4 parallel ranges, their regional names we have discussed in this session. Then we have discussed the North Indian plains, their classification based on the Aravalli ranges. Okay, then their features we have discussed these questions also. Then we have discussed Indian peninsula, the boundaries of Indian peninsula. Okay, the states which lies on this particular peninsular region. Then we have seen the coastal plains. Okay, remember this figure, it is a 7500 kilometer. So the entire coast which India has, it is a 7500 kilometer length. Okay, then we have discussed the western coastal plain, eastern coastal plain, the dissimilarities of these coastal plains. So we have discussed this eastern and western ghats comparison also in this particular section. Then the last one is island group. We have also discussed this in depth, the Barren Island, which is the only volcanic island in our country. So in this way we have discussed the major topic of this particular chapter, that is a physiography of India. So guys, I hope you understand all the concept related to this physiographic structure. So if you have any doubt, do comment, do like this session, share with your friends, and do subscribe our YouTube channel so you will get the notification of upcoming video session on time. Okay guys, so thank you and have a nice day.